What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video of J&D Sports Talk. Today I'm going to be giving you our first of many tier list videos. Probably going to try to get one of these out once or twice a week. So without further ado, let's begin. So we have the categories Super Bowl contenders. This is through 6 games for every team. Well, some played 5, but this is kind of a check-in so far this season. The top highest tier, we have Super Bowl contenders. After that, we have deep playoff contenders. And then after that is going to be likely a playoff team, so teams that are probably going to make the playoffs, stuff like that. After that, we got mid, so teams that are decent that, probably won't make the playoffs, but they're not bad. So kind of like a version like last year's, I don't know, if a team wins 6 or 7 games. You should get it. And then under that, you got bad, team that's playing bad. Then after that, you got terrible, so team that's playing really, really bad. And then you got number 1 pick contention. Now, I'm sorry if the video quality is a little bad for this video. Like me and Dom said, we are, getting better and better at this as we go on, and looking to improve at anything. But without further ado, let's get started. The first team is going to be the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to put them at pretty bad. A lot of people would put them at terrible or maybe even number 1 pick contention, but I'm just going to give them some grief here because it's not their fault. Injury to Tua, but I feel like, this coaching staff, they shouldn't be playing this bad just because they lost a quarterback. Moving on to the next team, we got the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to be the first team to go up to Super Bowl contenders. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey. That's just to name a few players. Kyle Hamilton, and then John Harbaugh. They're a really good team. They've been close the last few years, and there's not really any reason to move them down. But they're definitely a Super Bowl contender. Oop. Don't know what happened there. Next up, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. They have been playing bad, and they're one side of the ball. The offense is really good. They started slow, but the offense has been really good, but the defense has been really bad. Joe Burrow is off to one of his best starts of his career so far, but the defense is allowing 20-something points per game. Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to put them at mid. They are 2-3, 2-4 right now, I'm pretty sure. But, they could definitely be down towards bad. But for their first 2 games, I'm going to put them at mid. I don't think they're going to be good this year, but that's where I'm going to put the Saints for now. The Denver Broncos. This is an interesting one. The Denver Broncos. I think they go on mid. I don't even know how they're pulling this off. Their defense has been really bad. And not their defense. Their offense has been really bad. Bo Nix hasn't been great to start off his career. Their defense has been good, but Denver's been playing decent, nothing special. I don't know how they're the record they are, but they've been playing mid. The Giants, I'm going to put them at bad, okay? You guys will probably say, why are they not terrible? Number 1 pick contention. There's not really going to be any team at number 1 pick contention. But the Giants, they have a bad record. Don't get me wrong. They're playing bad, but they've been competitive for a lot of the season so far. They were competitive in the Commanders game if they had a kicker. They were, they played terrible, but they were somehow competitive with the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. You know, they were competitive in a few of these games that they lost, so they're not terrible, but they're definitely not playing good either. I did not mean to do that again. Next up, we got the Vikings, and I think I'm going to put them at deep playoff contenders. A lot of people would say Super Bowl contenders, but I'm going to put them at deep playoff contenders. Yes, I know they're 5-0, and realistically, they're probably the second best team in the league right now. But I don't know. I have to see, this. I have to see how the Vikings keep playing. Yeah, they're 5-0, but a lot of those games they almost lost in the end. They didn't close them out, regardless of the record. So they've been, a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're. I gotta see them to keep going before I put them at Super Bowl contenders. Next up, we got the Rams, and they've been playing bad. A lot of injuries on top of the bad defense they already had entering the year. Not much to say there, but they've been competitive for a lot of the time. And why does that keep happening? Not mean to do that. Next up, we got the Buccaneers. I am going to put them. Let's move up here at deep playoff contenders. I think they're going to go a good way this year. Yes, I don't like them, but I have to give credit where it's due. I think they're going to go a good way this year. Baker Mayfield's still playing really good. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White, Cade Otton, not a bad line, led by Tristan Wirfs, and their defense has a couple of good players. But I think, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders, but they definitely could be. Next up, we got the Lions, and they're going to go straight to the Super Bowl contenders. I can mention that they just beat Dallas 47-9, but that's, they've had a lot of impressive wins this year. Obviously, you've seen how they did last year and the ending of the year before. Detroit Lions are a really good football team with a really good coach, and I expect them to go really far this season. Next up, we got Chicago. I'm going to put them at mid. I don't think they're going to keep playing like the team they are. At least I don't want them to, but I'm being honest. Rookie quarterback. There's not really times where a rookie quarterback takes a team to deep into the playoffs or anything like that. And I think if that were to happen this season, kind of like C.J. Stroud last season, I think it would be Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. But we're going to have to see how Chicago goes, and, we'll go from there. Next up, we got the 49ers. I'm going to give them deep playoff contenders. Right now, they are showing no way that they are going to the Super Bowl. They're the 49ers. They're a really good football team. All that jazz, but they are not playing good ball. That's just the truth about it. They're playing good, but not as they're expected to. And injuries, yes, are a part of that, but they're not playing good as they're supposed to. Moving on, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. This may shock some people, but I'm going to put them at mid. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. They don't look good. They just barely, even though they had players back, they barely beat the Browns, the worst offense in the league at the moment. They barely beat the Browns. They have a huge coaching and culture problem in Philadelphia. Players arguing online and all that kind of jazz. They don't have much leadership, seems like. But they have a coaching problem over there at least, and just doesn't seem. They're not the Super Bowl version of the Eagles, and that's all their fans bring up. Moving on, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. They've been playing pretty bad. This was expected. They didn't have a quarterback. They're flip-flopping. Earlier today, they traded Davante Adams to the Jets. They're not a good team. They honestly should kind of rebuild. Antonio Pierce is probably a good coach, you know. But like we said, we expected mid or worse from the Raiders. They're the Raiders at the end of the day, but they're not off to a good start this season. Moving on, we got Green Bay. Got to move up here. Where do I put them here? Where do I put them here? Do I put them as Super Bowl contenders or deep playoff contenders? I'll give them Super Bowl contenders. They're a really good team led by Jordan Love, very young receiving core, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson when he's healthy, Dontavian Wicks, Luke Musgrave at tight end, and they just got Josh Jacobs from the Raiders in the offseason, and their defense is pretty good, and they have one of the best coaches, it's probably top 10 in my opinion, coach in the NFL, Matt LaFleur. They have a really good culture over there, and the best thing about it is they're really young. So theoretically, it should keep going. Next up, we got the Commanders. I'm not going to put them at anything crazy. I'm going to put them at likely a playoff team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I like Jaden Daniels. I liked him, when he was with LSU, won the Heisman. I think he's a really good quarterback. He's a dual threat. He can be, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson. He's that kind of quarterback. He's been really good for the Commanders. He's been the best rookie quarterback thus far. Doesn't mean he's going to have the best career. That's so far. But, like I said, Commanders are playing really well. And a big reason of that is Jaden Daniels. Okay, so that's why it's going up and down. Scroll setting. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals. They are, if I can make a, you know what, I'm going to make a row for the Arizona Cardinals, just for them. And this describes them right here. They are the most inconsistent team I've ever seen. Why, you must ask? They go and put on a really good game against the Niners. And then, next thing you know, they get blown out by the Packers. Held to a season low in yards, I'm pretty sure. And they didn't score much points against Green Bay. But that's their own little tier. They're the same as bad in my opinion, but I just added them to the inconsistent. Because that's what they've been so far. Next up, we got the Steelers. The terrible towels. We're going to move up a bit here. We're having a little technical difficulties. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. But I'm going to put the Steelers at likely a playoff team. Justin Fields has been playing pretty good. That offense still hasn't found an identity. Their defense is, one of the best defenses in the league. They have a good legendary coach in Mike Tomlin that's going to the Hall of Fame. I'd get a lot of heat if I didn't put him anywhere else. But I'm going to put them at likely a playoff team. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the playoffs, but I also wouldn't be surprised, if they did make the playoffs. Next up, we got Buffalo, and I think, Buffalo has been one of those teams the last few years that just can't get over the hump. They have a really good team, they're looking hot coming out of the regular season with 12, 13 wins, and then they just mess up in the playoffs. I'm going to put them at deep playoff contenders here. I definitely could see them in the Super Bowl, but I could also see them being one and done. There's a lot of expectations for the Bills. And earlier today, they made a really good trade going for Amari Cooper. So that was a really good move on their part. But, like I said, Buffalo could definitely be in the Super Bowl contenders category. And they could also be in the likely a playoff team category. They're 4-2, and they've been playing pretty good ball. Next up, we got the Falcons, and I'm not going to say anything I don't like them. I'm just going to put them where I think they are. Next up, we got Seattle. I'm going to put them at mid. They haven't been playing bad, but I don't think they're a playoff caliber team thus far. Like I said, this all could change. The Commanders could be a Super Bowl contender, hypothetically. Maybe the Eagles get it back together. Maybe the Bengals get it together. Maybe the Dolphins, when Tua comes back, they go crazy. But what I'm saying is, this is that so far this season. So as if right now, today is, let me check the date. So far from what day of the season starts? September 7th, September 9th, all the way till October 15th. This is how every team has played. Next up, we got the Patriots. I think they're going to are terrible. I'm just going to delete this row here because I'm not going to use it likely because obviously bad and terrible teams should be contenders for a pick. But like I said, Patriots, they've been competitive in a couple of games, couple scenarios. Drake May had his first career game. He didn't play too bad. But like I said, it was the Patriots. We all expected them to barely win, if they even got a win. So far, they got one. They're 1-5, and maybe with Drake May, they'll put together some wins. But Patriots fans, something to get excited for. Even if you guys finish bad, you should have a top pick. So next up, we got the Browns. They're going to be put at terrible. Deshaun Watson. I've never seen a quarterback hold a team back more. They are not a good football offense. They also just lost Amari Cooper due to that reason. Probably doesn't want to play there anymore. But like I said, they're not a good offense. They're not an NFL caliber offense. Big reason of that is Deshaun Watson, and he's just not playing any good ball. And I don't like him as a person or a quarterback. I used to, but not anymore. But Cleveland has been playing terrible thus far. Next up, we got the Texans. I can't bring them up, so I got to put them somewhere, move up. But they're going to be Super Bowl contenders for sure. Very young team. I like DeMeco Ryans, C.J. Stroud. He's a good young quarterback. They got Stephon Diggs. He's been having a pretty good year. Nico Collins when he gets healthy. Take Dallas fast. Dalton Schultz underrated. A line led by Laramie Tunzel. And they have some pretty good players on the defense. But they're definitely a Super Bowl contender in my book. Right now, they are 4-1, I'm pretty sure. Their only loss would be against... Who is their loss against? I can't remember. But it was probably a competitive one. We have a few teams left here. Here's a order, in case you guys can't see. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. I think everyone knows where they are going. We don't have to do much explaining. Matter of fact, I'm going to put them in the front here. They're probably the best team in the NFL. I think everyone knows that. There's really not much to say. Reigning Super Bowl champions. They're looking for reigning 2 Super Bowl champions. They're looking to go 3 in a row. First time a team would ever do that. They're 5-0 right now. They're on their way to. Next up, we got the Cowboys. Did it again. I apologize. Next up, we got the Cowboys. For what they're expected to do, I'm going to put them at bad. They haven't been playing good football, especially on defense. Their offense hasn't been great, but their defense has been terrible. Detroit just lit them up, and it's not the first time this season that they, got destroyed on defense. They can't stop running backs, and they don't have a running game themselves thus far. But I like the Cowboys. I hope they get it together. But so far, they've been playing some pretty bad football here. Next up, we got the Chargers. I think I'm going to put them... If there's a category between mid and bad, you never know what you're going to get. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little category here just for the Chargers here. And it's going to be never know. You don't know. One week they look like Super Bowl contenders, the next week they don't know what they're doing. That's another inconsistent, but you never know. You never know. But seriously though, um, like I said, Chargers, they've done a good job at establishing the run and playing defense for the most part. They could be a playoff team. I could definitely see that. You know what? Let's actually put them at likely a playoff team. I think they will make it with Harbaugh. I like Herbert. I think they will make it. Let's clear that. Just joking. But, I think the Chargers could definitely make the playoffs. They're one of those teams that I think are going to get like 8 or 7 to 9 wins. If they make the playoffs, I won't be surprised. But if they miss, they're like the Steelers. Same boat as the Steelers for me. But the Chargers actually have a identity on offense. Got a few teams left. Next up, we got the Jets. This is interesting. Where do we put the Jets? I'm putting them at mid. They're 2-4 right now. Their offense has looked poop, but their defense is really good. They might get it together. They traded for Davante Adams earlier today. I mentioned that earlier when I was talking about Vegas, but that should help their offense, but we'll see. I feel like their team culture, I said this a while ago, even before they fired Saleh, or when they did, one of the two or both, that I feel like they don't have much leadership. I feel like their whole identity is Aaron Rodgers. They don't have a run the ball or play action, take shots downfield. That crossers, they don't have an identity. It's just Aaron Rodgers, what Aaron Rodgers wants to play. Next up, we got my Carolina Panthers. And you can call me biased here, but I'm going to put them at Super Bowl contender. I'm just kidding. I wish I was serious. But I'm probably going to go... this hurts. I'm going to put them with the Cardinals at inconsistent. Because we put up 36 points to the Raiders, and then next week we get blown out by Chicago. But, I talk about the Panthers more than any other team, and I talk about a lot of teams on here. Obviously, you guys know that. A lot of teams, a lot of sports, food, many other things. J&D Sports Talk, that's what it's all about. Make sure you check out our TikTok and Twitter. And also, please leave a like and subscribe. But, anyway, Carolina, 1-5 right now. The main reason we're 1-5 is our defense allowing 34 points a game and a lot of injuries. But I've discussed this. Don't need to keep bringing it up. Don't want to sound like a broken record. Hopefully, we turn it around and collect more wins. We got the Tennessee Titans. They're playing terrible football. Terrible football. It's too early to tell, but I don't think they should have got rid of Mike Vrabel. I don't think he was the problem. I think the GM was the problem. And just keeping the same talent and not actually drafting quarterbacks when they had the opportunity. But, they did draft Malik Willis. Top pick. But anyway, Brian Callahan, like I said, too early to tell. But Titans have been playing pretty bad so far. Will Levis has been bad. Ridley, they haven't got him involved much. It's just, kind of a mess there in Tennessee. Next up, we got the Colts. I'm going to put them at mid. I want them to be good. I believe they can. They're either going to keep playing mid or they're probably going to play a little better. I feel like right now Flacco is a better quarterback for them, and I feel like that's what they should go with for at least, the near future. But you also want to get Anthony Richardson some reps. So we'll see what Indy's mindset is on that. Next up, we got the Jags. They are going to join the terrible category. I think this one was expected. They haven't played good football at all. They're 1-5. Barely got a win, by the way. 3 points over the Colts. Doug Peterson needs to go. A few other coaches need to go. Receivers need to catch the ball. I don't even think any of it is really Trevor Lawrence's fault. But, you know, we'll have to see how the Jaguars continue the season, and they'll probably get rid of Doug Peterson soon. So, how they play after that. That's going to be it for our first of many tier list videos. Like I said, J&D Sports Talk talks about NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB. And we also talk about food and other things. You should also check out our YouTube and, well, you're on YouTube right now. Check out our Twitter and TikTok at J&D Sports Talk. We are going to get, we're putting out pretty good content, and we're going to only get better and better. And we're like I said, very excited. We're doing this podcast with you guys. Let us know any tips, and please subscribe and all that kind of stuff. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you guys want to see in future videos. And I will see you guys in the next episode.